Hi guys, and we're back in the kitchen today. And one of the trademark things to do every summer is to get out and get grilling. So I don't know about you guys, but I love to make stuff on the barbecue for a number of reasons. You're outside enjoying the sun. It's nice to be outdoors. Also, it doesn't heat your house up in the summer, which is an added bonus. Plus, there's just something about the taste of barbecued food that is really, really delicious. Now, today I thought I would show you my recipe for my cooked barbecue sauce. But it's going to have a bit of a twist because a couple of days ago when I was researching some other websites for you guys, I clicked on a link and I ended up watching this guy's video. His name's Shotgun Red, and he is a Deep South Grill Master, or as his t-shirt says, Grillmeister. I'll try and send the link for that. Anyways, I stumbled onto a link for his cooked barbecue sauce, and as I watched it, I was going, yep, I use that in mine, and I use that, and I use that, and the recipes were almost identical in terms of ingredients. Quantities were a little bit different, and he had a couple of ingredients that I didn't use, and I have a couple of ingredients that he didn't use. So I thought today it would be kind of fun to take Shotgun Red's recipe, my recipe, merge the two, and see what we come up with. Now, there was a lot of ingredients in this. So yes, it is easier to go to the grocery store and reach for a bottle of Kraft barbecue sauce. And there are some good barbecue sauces out there. A lot of people speak really fondly of the Diana barbecue sauces. I personally like Bullseye Bold Original for just a go-to barbecue sauce to use on steak or ribs or whatever. But if you have a really beautiful piece of meat or a roast, or you're going to do pulled pork or something there, you want it to have a really deep, delicious, sticky, kind of sweet, smoky flavor, I think a cooked barbecue sauce is more something that you would be interested in, and hopefully you'll like the sounds of this one. There's a couple of ingredients that Shotgun Red uses that I'm a little dubious of, and I will talk about that when we get there, but let's take a look at everything that we're going to put into this sauce today. Okay, so let's talk about some of our ingredients here. So in this big glass measuring cup, we have 2 cups of ketchup. Down here, I've got a 1/4 cup of orange juice concentrate. Now, Shotgun Red uses just actual orange juice, but I've always used concentrate. I just think it's better flavor. So you can do whichever you prefer. This is a 1/4 cup of apple juice, which I always put in mine as well. He adds a 1/2 cup of very finely chopped onion. I typically add like the dried minced onion. So we're gonna try it his way and see how that works. I can't see why it wouldn't be good. Behind here is one of the ingredients that I'm a little dubious about. It is, for the first time appearing ever in my kitchen, anchovies. Yeah. He claims that 3 little anchovy fillets pureed and blended in with this barbecue sauce gives it a deep, nutty, salty flavor, no fishiness. But he said also that if you go to the store and look on the labels of store-bought barbecue sauce, you will see anchovies listed as an ingredient. Now, Shotgun Red does not use Dijon mustard in his barbecue sauce, but I always do. So I'm going to hold off on adding my Dijon until the end. We're going to try it his way, and we're going to see if at the end it still needs that little something, something. What do we got here? We've got some onion powder here. We've got... I think the onion powder is a teaspoon, okay? We've got a 1/2 cup of brown sugar. We have a teaspoon of garlic powder, not salt, garlic powder. We've got 1/8 teaspoon of cayenne pepper there, a teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce. We have a 1/2 cup of molasses. We have a 1/4 cup of honey. It's just got a little bit of grape jelly residue in it there. That's what those colored splotches are. We've got some apple cider vinegar. I think there was a 1/4 cup of that as well. Yep. This is something he doesn't put in his sauce, but I fully intend to use it in mine, and it is 1 tablespoon of instant coffee granules dissolved in 1 tablespoon of hot water. He uses liquid smoke in his barbecue sauce, which I was not able to find despite my best efforts. This is not going to give it a smoky flavor, but it is going to give it a definite depth and richness, so I am going to add it. We've got I think is it 1/2 cup or a 1/4 cup? I think it's a 1/4 cup of grape jelly. We've got some dry mustard and some black pepper here, and I'll go over quantities again as we're going through this. And then something he uses that I have not used is a can of Rotel tomatoes with green chilies that have been drained of all their juice. Okay, so I know a lot of ingredients. Andrew, could you look after letting him out, please? Thank you, honey. A lot of ingredients, but I promise you it's going to taste great. I really hope, I'm really dubious about the anchovies going in there, but I'm going to try it because, I don't know, if you look up Shotgun Red on YouTube, he looks like a trustworthy guy who knows something about barbecue. So this barbecue sauce, when I am done cooking it, is going to go in a mason jar and be saved for the weekend when I do a pork roast. Okay, so let's get started on putting this all together. Okay, so we're back for this little bit of an experiment that will sort of pit Shotgun Red's barbecue sauce versus my barbecue sauce for a hybrid version. So one of the things that he has in his YouTube video that would be great to have, admittedly, but I do not have one, is he has an induction cooktop, which allows him to put his barbecue sauce on, dial the temperature to 200, and walk away and leave it, and it will simmer at that consistent temperature. I do not have one of those, so what I typically do for my barbecue sauce is to put it in my slow cooker, which I have back here, and keep it on low, and then just kind of check on it every hour or so. It's a pretty reliable slow cooker. I don't really know what temperature it's cooking at. It's not going to get hot enough to boil our ingredients. You don't want it boiled. You want it thickened and you want those flavors to all blend. So that's how I'm going to do it. Shotgun Red has his great cooktop and that's wonderful. But anyway, let's get started. So we've got our 2 cups of ketchup, which I'm just going to put right into our slow cooker here. Okay. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we are going to take the Rotel tomatoes that we have drained of all their juice with the green chilies. They smell really good. They don't smell particularly spicy. They just kind of smell zesty. We're going to put them in here. And we're going to pulse this until we pretty much almost liquefy it. Because this is what we're going to then put our anchovy fillets in. Now, in fairness, although I would not order anchovies on a pizza, and I do not eat like sushi or anything like that, I just really don't enjoy anything that has a sort of fishy taste to it.
But you love seafood.
But I love seafood, you're right. But good seafood should not smell or taste fishy per se. When I took the lid off this, it really is not overwhelmingly fishy. They're packed in olive oil. And I have seen various recipes where anchovies are sort of the secret ingredient, so I'm hoping that that is the case here. He adds 4, I'm not going to add 4. I think we'll go with 3 just to be safe. To start. Okay, so I've got my Rotel tomatoes in my little blender here, and I'm going to pulse it. Okay, so that's pretty fine puree. Time for those anchovy fillets. So here we are, just so you can see what they look like. I actually mistakenly, in the grocery store when I was looking for these, went to the aisle that has the tuna, thinking that's where I would find them. They were not there. I had to inquire, and one of the people that was working at the store very graciously brought them to me from another part of the store. I have no idea where they were. Do we go with 3 or do we go with 2? Let's try 2. Let's try 2. Now we're going to blend this. We're going to puree the crap out of it, basically. I still only smell tomatoes. I don't smell anything fishy. Okay, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to add just a little bit of the apple juice into this so that we are sure that we've got a really nice smooth puree going on here. And I'm going to be brave. I'm going to be culinarily, I'm going to be brave. I'm going to add one more. I'm going to add one more anchovy fillet, the whole thing maybe. If I can get it out. Heaven's sakes. All right, I'll just do this. There we are. One more anchovy fillet in there. Put the lid on so that we do not spill this, because, well, my dogs would probably love that. I don't particularly want to have that on my counters. All right, gonna blend it up. Okay, again, not smelling fish. That's great. Let's see if I can show you here. It's pretty smooth. I mean, there's no gigantic chunks of anything in there, which is what we're looking for. So I'm gonna go ahead and add this into my ketchup. Just kind of pour it slowly, just to make sure we have no big chunks. All right, give that a stir. My crock pot's already on low here, okay? Great. Here we are. So, to this, I'm going to add my onions. Now, these are chopped really quite finely. These are sort of like if you went to McDonald's and, whoops, where are you? And you ordered like a cheeseburger, they're kind of on par with the size they would be if you ordered a McDonald's cheeseburger. I'm just gonna put those right on in there. Okay, now we're going to go through our spices. So this is a pretty detailed list of ingredients that he's got here. So we've got, let's see, a teaspoon of onion powder, teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/8 teaspoon cayenne pepper, 2 teaspoons black pepper, fresh ground, so it's gonna have heat. What is this? Dry mustard. This is his ingredient. I prefer the Dijon, but we're gonna go with the dry. I'm gonna try it his way. We are also going to add our 1/2 cup of brown sugar, our 1/4 cup of orange juice concentrate. And again, he just said to use orange juice, but I really like the flavor of the concentrate. I just find it gives it a nice bright taste. We have a 1 teaspoon, where are we? 1 teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce. We have a 1/4 cup of apple cider vinegar. Also a 1/4 cup of apple juice. Now the apple cider vinegar is something I've used in my sauce. All those things that are acidic, like lemon juice or citrus or vinegars, those help tenderize your meat, I believe, when you're cooking it. So this is our honey. So as you can tell from the brown sugar and the honey, between those alone, it's going to be a sweeter barbecue sauce. Then we have molasses on top of it. Now, helpful hint, if you are sort of measuring everything out like I am beforehand and you're going to just kind of dump it in here, you can, it's much easier when you measure if you spray your measuring cup or your bowl with a little bit of Pam first, because then that barbecue sauce, or that molasses rather, is just going to plop right on out of there. It's going to be much easier. Grape jelly. And my ingredient, not Shotgun Reds, is my my coffee crystals, my instant coffee granules dissolved 1 tablespoon in 1 tablespoon of hot water. All right, let's get everything combined here. So it's got a really nice color. Only thing I am not sure so far that I'm feeling about it exactly, at least visually, is the minced fresh onion. Like I said, I usually go with like the dried onion, which tends to be smaller pieces. Okay. It's looking like it's a beautiful color. It smells really good. Now, the flavors are just brand new in that pot together, so I'm not expecting it to taste like the finished product right now, but let's just see. Okay, so at first taste, it's really good, first of all. Second of all, no fish. So thumbs up on that. Way to go, Shotgun Red. I am glad I took your advice. Thirdly, it's spicy. I don't know if maybe those Rotel tomatoes were spicier than like the one, I usually use like the Elmer accents with chilies or whatever. Those I'm thinking maybe were just a little bit more spicy. It's not unpleasantly spicy, but when this percolates, I feel like between the cayenne pepper and the black pepper that's in there, this is gonna have some heat. So let's take a look at it. Okay, so here's all our ingredients just nicely combined in our crock pot on low. You can see it's got a beautiful color. You can see the chunks of onion. I'm gonna let that percolate and we're gonna let it cook. We're gonna give it its time. I'll check back in on it. If I still don't visually like the appearance, or if I think it might enhance the taste, what I might do is use my immersion blender and just puree that a little bit more to get rid of those bigger chunks of onion so that it's a smoother sauce. But bottom line, we want to let it cook. We want to keep it on low. We do not want to burn this because there is a lot of sugar in it. So not all crock pots are created equal. Make sure yours does not run on the hot side. And we'll be back in 2 hours to see how we're doing. Okay, so we're about an hour in, and I have left the lid off my crock pot for a couple of reasons. Number one, to help guard against overheating and possibly singeing or burning on the bottom. And also because you want some of that extra moisture that's in there to evaporate away and leave you with a nice thick sauce. So let's see how we're tasting. Okay, nice color. And as you can see, it's definitely thickening up. It's clinging to my spoon nicely, which means it'll cling to whatever kind of meat I'm going to put it on quite nicely. It smells really good. Let's see how we are an hour after it's been in the crock pot, having all those flavors merge. It's really, really good. I am not going to go ahead and add any Dijon mustard to this because it has quite a lot of heat to it anyways, from the cayenne pepper and everything else that we put in there, the black pepper. The taste is great. I will probably never make this barbecue sauce again without those anchovy fillets. I can't believe it. You cannot in any way, shape, or form taste them. It's amazing. Now I know in his video he says if you're serving this, don't tell anybody that they're in there. I would only say that that should be true if you know that you are feeding somebody that does not have a seafood or shellfish allergy. Make sure of that first, but I would agree otherwise. If you know you've got people coming who would otherwise recoil at the thought of anchovies, kind of like I did, then don't tell them. But this is so good. The color is beautiful. I cannot wait to see what it's like in 1 more hour. So we'll be back. We'll be back and we'll see what the finished product's like, and then I'm going to decant it into a mason jar and wait for my beautiful pulled pork roast on the weekend. Okay, we have simmered for better than 2 hours now. Not even simmered, we've been in our crock pot just percolating for 2 hours. You can see how dark the color has gotten, and you can see how much moisture we've lost over the course of our cook time here. So now we're going to give it the final taste test and see how we're doing. Okay, got a spoon. You can see it's coating the spoon really nicely, which means it's going to stick to your meat. The color is so much darker. I can't believe how much the color has changed. All right, moment of truth. Oh, I'm a convert, complete convert. I will be changing my recipe to exactly the quantities that he used in his. However, I do think the coffee adds something here. I didn't have the liquid smoke that he talked about in his recipe, and I wish I could have gotten that because I do think a little bit of liquid smoke in here would be delicious. But I really don't think it needs the Dijon mustard. I'm surprised how much I like the onions, and I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to be pureeing or doing anything else. So this is a winner. I'm going to decant this into a mason jar once it's cool, and this is going to be fantastic on pulled pork. So let me know if you guys try this, if you make any changes, what changes you make, and whether you like them or not. But this is going to be fantastic, and thank you for joining me in my kitchen, and we'll see you again very soon.